Hello gentlemen, welcome back. I'm dating coach Naz, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 3 traits every woman who's wrong for you is going to encompass. Okay, now before I get into the video and share the points, I do want to say, if you are a man who is a professional and you're successful in the other areas of your life, but when it comes to women, love, relationships, dating, you feel frustrated, stuck, or confused, then I do invite you to book a private session with me where we basically are going to uncover the hidden blocks, hidden patterns that are holding you back. And also you're going to get real clarity and direction moving forward. So the link is going to be somewhere on the screen or in the caption below. If you keep ending up with women who confuse you, drain you, or leave you second guessing yourself, then it doesn't mean that you're unlucky. It just means that you're locked in a pattern, in a loop. And so today I'm going to break down these 3 traits that every wrong woman is going to show you, which will hopefully enable you to stop wasting your time and your energy with the wrong women and start attracting the kind of connection that actually lasts and is meaningful to you. So as I'm talking about these traits, I really want you to dig deep, reflect, and ask yourself, have you dated somebody like this, and have you tried to push through and make it work? Or are you currently dating somebody like this? Or do you have a friend that is dating somebody like this? So I don't want you to sit and just, watch. I want you to really reflect on what I'm saying. So the first type of woman that is going to be wrong for you is a woman who is inconsistent but addictive. Have you ever dated a woman whose energy comes in waves? So one minute she's in, the next minute she's distant. You really are, you're almost guessing, what is she going to do next? I don't know. And sometimes that might be exciting for men because men do love a little bit of a chase, right? If a woman straight up comes to you and says, I want to sleep with you and I want to marry you and I want this, it's going to turn men off. Most men is going to turn them off. Men do have this, they like a little bit of a chase, not an unhealthy chase and that toxic chase that we always talk about. I'm just talking about a man who is with a woman where she knows her worth, and she's not just going to give you everything on the first date. And men really do a good quality, a man who has integrity, he's also not sleeping around with a bunch of women. He's going to respect a woman who's they have the same values. And with this woman, you find yourself overthinking, checking your phone, questioning yourself, your worth, who you are as a man. Are you good enough? You have all these questions that start popping up, these negative questions. The connection feels high when it's good, but then you feel anxious when it's not. So hopefully this is kind of ringing some bells and memories, hopefully, to you. And you can, remember that this is the type of woman I'm not meant to date. This is the kind of woman who isn't stable. So she's basically mirroring back to you your unresolved patterns, the wounds. It's basically the chaos that you keep chasing as a man. And so this is a time to really reflect and ask yourself, is this something that is a pattern? Do you feel like you constantly attract these kind of women who make you feel like you need to perform and you need to prove your worth to them, and when they don't show up for you, you get anxious, you start overthinking, and you start wondering, am I even good enough as a man? There's a therapist who says this: we, in reality, as adults, we are actually just 5-year-old kids running around with an adult body. If that adult is not aware, they're not conscious, they're not awake in life, they're continuously looking for external validation or extrinsic values, and they think, once I get this amount of money, then I'll finally be happy. Once I get this woman, then I'll finally be happy. So they keep chasing, they keep trying to strive, but they never reach, because even when they find the woman, even when they get the woman, even when they make that amount of money, they still feel the same. They still feel like that unworthy human being that didn't get the amount of success that they wanted. A lot of men, they do hyper focus on success and money and wealth, but then they kind of forget about the inner work, because nobody really teaches men that your internal self is the most important. If internally you aren't grounded, you aren't calm, you aren't present, you're not aware of yourself, then no matter how much money that you have, the biggest Lamborghini is just a bunch of trash. Because at the end of it, your life, when you leave this earth, that crap, it doesn't matter. Yes, of course, we all want money, we all want abundance. There's nothing wrong with that. But just putting all of your focus and your attention and your all your goals are just focused around money, wealth, and when I get there, then I'm going to be worthy. Again, that's going back into your old patterns of when I'm enough. But the reality, the fact of life is that you already are enough. You already are whole just the way you are. Oh. The second one is that she avoids emotional responsibility. So when things get real, when difficult, conversations arise, or there is a obstacle in the way, there is a challenge in the way, instead of facing it, she's going to blame somebody else. She's going to deflect. She's going to shut down. She's going to disappear instead of facing the truth, instead of facing the reality. And which is why I always tell men, when you start dating, yes, it is all fun to talk about, where do you want to travel? Yay. But really try to see when, deeper conversations arise, is this woman, is she leading in or is she getting uncomfortable? Is she deflecting? How does this woman behave? And that is why your awareness and really not worrying about, okay, forget about this. We're going to go to sleep. We're going to get intimate tomorrow and things are going to work out. No, it doesn't work out that way. Because even when... It looks so silly, I'm sorry. Because when you ignore these things, right, it's fine for a week, for a month, even 2 years, even after you get married, it's all good. But then maybe once you have a child or something shifts in your life, then you're going to open up your eyes and wake up and be like, oh my God, how was I living with this human being? Why didn't I think? So that is why it's really important to ask these questions. I'm like the most dramatic coach. I don't know. Is this normal? Why am I so crazy? I'm kidding. I'm just passionate. So this woman deflects rather than reflects. Just remember that. Deflecting rather than reflecting. Write that down in your notes. So basically you end up doing all the emotional work, initiating hard conversations. And there's a lot of reasons why women may act like this. It could be, they could have the narcissistic personality, or they could just have an avoidant attachment style. It really depends on an individual, case by case scenario. But again, this is the starting point, right? This is what if you're noticing this when you're dating this woman, then what the hell is going to happen when you're married? What the hell is going to happen when you have children? It doesn't get better. That's what I want men to know. When you see these signs and you're like, this is weird. Why is she behaving? It doesn't disappear. It's just going to get bigger and worse and worse, okay? Now again, I also believe that every single woman, every single person that comes in your vicinity, in your life, they're not just there for the heck of it. They are there to teach you something about yourself, okay? So yes, this woman, when you look at it on paper, it's like, well, this is way, I can't deal with this or whatever, or she's not the one for me. And I know the videos we're talking about that. But I also want to challenge that, that thought and make you think, is this woman trying to teach me something? For example, I had a client of mine who came to me in a relationship with a woman who was emotionally unavailable, right? So every time he brought something up, it's usually, he's the one that would bring it up, and she would never acknowledge it. She never really cared. It was more about her. And so he was always the one doing this emotional work and trying to keep that relationship going. So of course, when I look at this, because I can already see the suffering coming up, right? But I know that I need each individual, each soul has their wisdom. They know what they need to do. They just need that confidence. They need the belief that they can do it, right? Sometimes people, they're like, oh, they ask a bunch of people, but they really know what the answer is, right? Because all of our souls know what we need to do. And so he kept on bringing this up to me. And of course, I had to give him my honest opinion, which I always do. And he just kind of was like, you know what, it's okay, like I'll just be in this relationship, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal or whatever. And in my heart, I knew this was not the good, this was not the good way to go about it, because anybody who's trying to sacrifice, actually not even sacrifice, but anybody who's trying to suppress how they feel and they need to walk on eggshells, like, oh, I can't express myself because she's not really going to accept that, that is the road to disaster. To me, at least, because I feel like you can't be your authentic self. You can't be your true self. You have to think, you have to constantly think, okay, am I, should I say this? Should I not say this? And that's just that's not true love to me. Somebody who really loves you is going to accept you for who you are, even when you're not perfect, even when you're flawed. That is true love. Of course, I'm not talking about toxic, unhealthy relationships where people are cursing each other out and there's emotional and physical abuse. That's not what I'm talking about. Just want to be very clear. And of course, after a couple of months, I saw the suffering, which began. So what I'm trying to say is that whenever you feel something about whatever, even about work, about the partner, whatever it is, it's not just coming out of the blue. There's actually some sort of a meaning behind it. It could be your intuition, it could be your guides, your angels, God, whatever it is, it's coming from somewhere. So never just blatantly ignore it, because again, that means you're not connected to the source or yourself. And so if you're in a relationship with a woman, or you're dating a woman who's emotionally unavailable, you're never going to truly and genuinely feel safe and seen with a human being that is unable to meet themselves emotionally. Thirdly, she values being pursued over connection. So she's more interested in how much you want her than actually building something that is real. She's somebody who needs attention to feel validated, not intimacy to feel secure. So those are very two different things, right? This is a perfect example of building a home on sand. The foundation is not cement. It's not going to hold that home. And so you're building a connection based on superficiality and extrinsic values, which is validation and how much you love me and being desired. And it's all about how much you can do for her, but that amount is never going to be enough, because nobody is ever going to feel satisfied with materialistic things in life. That satisfaction will only come through when you align with yourself internally and when you're able to just be present. A woman who's truly ready for love won't need any convincing. She's going to be present and not performative to, behave in a certain way to get a reaction out of you. And one of the main reasons why men fall in this trap of attracting this kind of woman is because they lack self-love. They have built the self-love through extrinsic values, which, as I mentioned, is not going to last. It is not going to bring you true satisfaction. It is going to bring you temporary satisfaction, right? Once you have a house and a car, then you're going to feel secure, but that is the biggest BS of life. And so my biggest tip for you really is just to be aware and be present when you're dating, and ask good questions and not get intimate very soon, because a lot of men tend to do this. I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about, and me included. I'm in this as well. I'm not even a man, but I totally understand why this happens, and I get it. I'm human as well. We all do these things. And so really making sure that you're being intentional when you date, but at the same time also remember that a lot of these loops, these patterns, we need to work on healing these wounds, on breaking these patterns. And so it doesn't just happen by watching a podcast or reading a book or watching a movie. And instead of continuously dating and, attracting even more women, what I would suggest is, of course, work on your boundaries as a man, because every time I ask a man, what are your boundaries? They have no idea what their boundaries are. And so I really want you to be clear on what your boundaries are. What are your non-negotiables when you're dating? At the same time, I want you to prepare for the right woman, because it's like, what was that quote with the opportunities? You don't want to miss out on opportunity because you're not prepared, you're not ready. Because that woman, your soulmate, is always going to be around you. But it is up to you to really prepare yourself to be ready. And if you don't want a relationship, you don't want love, that is okay as well. I don't really know what you're doing on this channel. I'm kidding. No, you can still be on this channel. It's okay. I do talk about self-development in other areas for sure. But I just want to say, if you want a relationship, if you want love, be honest about it. Don't lie to yourself and tell your friends, I don't need a woman. Oh, women are crap. Like, just stop that narrative, because it's not true. It's not true. Love is what makes the world go round. Okay, just because you've had some unhealthy, toxic relationships, it doesn't mean that every woman on the planet is unhealthy and toxic, because then I wouldn't be dating any man on the planet. Also, if you've seen any of these traits in the past relationships that you've been in, don't judge yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have made mistakes. We all are learning and growing, and that is part of life. It actually is a good sign, because it shows that you're putting yourself out there, you're open to receive love, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Also, remember, it's not about fixing them, because that is my biggest issue in life. I love to fix people. I'm the biggest fixer on the planet. It is really about shifting you. And so when you reset how you show up and you stop attracting from your wounds, instead you start attracting from your worth, then that is when you're winning in love. All right, so if anything resonated in this video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what resonated with you, what didn't resonate with you. I know you guys love to tell me all these things. And also, if you're ready to go deeper, then book a private session with me. The link is going to be down below or on the screen. And remember to not just wait for love, but spread it.